watching America Trends. I'm Mary Godwin, and look who I got sitting next to me, friends. It's Brad Rambur. I was like double fist bump. Brad Rambur, our cybersecurity expert, here to talk about all things tech for What the Tech with Brad Rambur.
Yeah,
that's what we got going on here today.
For the graphic. There it is.
Oh, there it is with the tech. Our only guest on America Trends with his own special graphic.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful nonetheless.
Okay, before we dive into our topics, I do want to talk about the fact that you just had an exciting accomplishment, and you texted me so you could try to get in competition with our drone and jib operator back there, Devin.
Devin's the man.
Devin is the man.
1, Devin is a Marine.
Yes.
2, Devin is a drone pilot. 3, I got a little FOMO and some jealousy, so I went out and I took the course, and I'm trying to catch up to him. So that's what's
amazing.
happening. Yeah.
Should we have a drone off?
Probably.
Is that a thing?
If it involves bagpipes, sure.
Oh, okay. So I'll learn the bagpipes.
Okay, there you go.
And then we'll have a thing.
Yeah, there you go.
So is it a hard thing to learn?
Well, so if you're an actual manned aircraft pilot.
I thought you were saying if you're an actual man.
No. I'm not going to mansplain you at any point today. That's
okay.
Not my job. But
okay.
yeah. So no, if you're a manned aircraft pilot, then the training is a little more narrow. It's just really around how you handle the drone and the airspace management and what you can and can't do.
So you're going to get your license in a shorter amount of time than he did because you fly planes? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. We'll see.
That's right. Devin and I I'm going to teach Devin how to fly planes, should he choose, and then he'll get all caught up on the other side.
That's right. How long does it take you to get your pilot's license?
There are lots of rules around that, and it can happen pretty fast if you're paying a lot of attention and you make it a full-time job.
Okay. I thought you were going to say if you're paying a lot of money.
Well, there's that. The airplanes are expensive to run, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so let's dive into our first What the Tech topic.
All right.
This was an interesting article with a headline about Facebook is what's wrong with the world. That's a big statement that I think a lot of people are thinking.
Spoken by the owner of Time magazine.
Time magazine, that's right. So this was Mark Benioff, okay. And he said, I own Time and I am held accountable for what is produced on my platform. In regards to Facebook, they are not held accountable. So they do not have an incentive from the government, and this has to change. And you are here to tell us that maybe this is going to change, or it's in the works.
Yeah, what's interesting about it is we have, I believe his name is Chris Stewart, who's a Republican congressman out of Utah, is proposing that children under the age of 16 aren't permitted to use social media, and then it puts the onus on the social media platform to verify the age of the child.
Because currently, speaking from someone of teenagers, I think the age is 13 for Instagram, but there's no way to verify that. So you just click a box and say, guess what, I'm 13. It's like when you go to an alcohol site and they're like, are you 21? Yeah. And you just click a button, there's no.
Yeah.
Now, this actually takes me to a whole nother sidebar, but is there a time in which you think that, we were talking about facial recognition. Mm-hmm. So is there a time in our future, potentially, where you do have your eyes or some sort of part of your body is going to be connected to your birth certificate, and then they'll know how old you are?
Oh, yeah.
So let's chop that and get that done.
So, yeah.
Instead of using all this facial recognition for bad things, let's get this into place to help protect our children.
I'm not going to argue. The technology exists. It's that we don't want federal driver's licenses and federal IDs. It's the citizens' privacy concerns that I think that are slowing that down.
I get that, yeah.
So if you, like I interact with the federal government on a couple of different levels, how you verify your identity with the government when working online is much more rigorous than it is in other places like social media platforms. Obviously the platform wants you on it, because if you're not looking at their screen, they can't sell you an ad, or they can't sell their customers an ad, and they can't try to get you to buy something from their customer.
Right.
Right. So there's the whole friction thing. So when a 13-year-old clicks on an end user license agreement, are they competent to sign a legal document?
I'm not even competent to sign it. So I got a couple teen years behind me. So, but certainly not a 13-year-old. And they're, so we talk about this a lot, and it's just such an interesting world. I was just at a intensive for my daughter's dance, and there was a whole section where parents were invited to, and talking about social media, and some of these older professionals were talking about there was no phone where we had to compare ourselves to other dancers in the industry, what they looked like and what jobs they were booking. And it is such a world of comparison now.
Medicine has a term for that.
What is it?
Snapchat dysmorphia.
Oh, well, that's a whole thing too, because then you can put filters on yourself. So everyone's walking around filtering their body to look like a Kardashian. And
do the Kardashians even look like the Kardashians with the filters that are
well, now we're getting really meta, and I don't even want to go
Yeah.
there. But did you know that Kylie Jenner and Timothy Chalamet are a couple? Sorry, I just said.
Yeah, no. I actually, unfortunately, I read too much, and I did trip across that. Believe me, I wasn't
At the
looking
Beyonce
for it,
concert?
but I thought that was apparently not wearing enough silver was the.
They did not show up with enough silver. Okay, I want to get back to Facebook though. Sorry for the digression here, because there's a couple things with the Facebook issue that you touched on. Is the allowing children underage on the platform, which is dangerous for them. All of the research is showing that it's harming kids for different reasons. Then there's also the harm of the spread of fake news, people being able to write whatever they want and then share it on Facebook. And Facebook is not needing. I mean, that's what Mark was saying for time, is that he has to make sure that those articles that are printed in his paper are legitimate.
Yeah,
And
based in
fact checked.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing on Facebook is fact checked.
Yeah.
And so then you get an algorithm giving you fake news, and you believe that nothing blue in Maui burned because.
Yeah, the mechanism, there's a law, and I regret that I don't have the name at the top of brain here, but there's a law that says that the social media platform is not held liable for the content created by the platform's users. It's the responsibility of the individual that created or posted the content. So,
It's the user.
yeah.
So that is written into the rules of Facebook, but
Any of the platforms legally in the United States. And so we're coming, our point of view of this is changing, it's maturing, we'll call it, and go, hey, wait a minute. If journalists have to check facts and state facts because of journalistic integrity, the fourth estate, whatever drives that, why doesn't anybody else who has access to a technology that can reach more people than they can see or hand a flyer to?
right.
Yeah, so I completely agree that really there are two things that are coming to mind here. One, just because you said it doesn't mean it's fact. How do we know? Okay?
Unless you're me, and then.
Yeah, but then everything you read and see is factual, absolutely.
Right.
The other thing is when you're looking at a young person, very impressionable, we all need stories. Think about all the creative work that is literature, that is drama, that is music. We live in stories. So when you're young and you're impressionable and you find something that satisfies you in some way, you keep looking for more. But then the algorithm thing happens, and now you're getting constantly fed
Right.
a steady diet of what the people that program the system think
Right.
pleases you. Because if you're pleased, you're looking at the screen more, you're looking
on
at
the-
more ads, you
right.
might buy something that their customers are paying them to put on there.
Right. So all of that is true, and all of it is scary. And I mean, I think that's why people are anti-Mark Zuckerberg and anti-Meta, because he's at the top of this food chain, let's say, tip of the spear.
Lots of money.
It's money driven.
Oh yeah, well, it's incentive.
So I love that. It's funny that this congressperson is from Utah, you said, because.
Not funny at all.
Not funny. But they are doing a lot. They are the first to ban, I think it was TikTok.
I think so.
And they are really coming down hard on these social media platforms, because we need to catch up, because the digital industry has just spiraled. It's expanded so quickly, and our kids are the ones that are harmed.
The processed food of communication.
Right. But then my 15-year-old keeps saying, Mom, it's all we know. So that's the way it is. And I thought, oh, you're right. I mean, that's what they're going to know. And
That brings up another question, really. If that's all they know, then what are we parents up to exposing them to things that aren't that?
so can you go with that further? What do you mean?
I'm the son of a federal law enforcement officer.
I'm a son.
I'm a seventh
born
son
on
of a
the
seventh
range.
son. Exactly. I'm playing everything in the People's Key of C. Well, let's go Johnny Cash for a minute. I grew up outside. My dad had an outside job, so I was outside. Obviously, we didn't have phones to tap through, but
Well, that's true. I mean, I think because my girls are in dance and they are absolutely driven and have this whole exercise. They're not outside doing it, but they have a whole world that they are masters at.
That isn't staring at a phone.
That's not staring at the phone, but you better believe when they're not at that studio, their phone is in their hands. And so I think, okay, why don't you start following dancers that you want to emulate and start utilizing your time to learning things about this world. I don't know how far that went, but that's what I suggested. We'll see what happens. Okay, we got to take a quick break. We stick around. The word China is in this next blurb here, and this always stresses me out, gives me anxiety. But we're coming back. We're with Brad Rambur, What the Tech with Brad Rambur, our cybersecurity expert, and we'll be right back right after this quick break.
All right.